Hey y'all, welcome to Killer Queens, a true crime podcast. I'm your host Torella, and like most millennials, I've always had an obsession with true crime. On KQ, you'll find light true crime stories, millennial hypes and gripes, some adult language, and maybe a special guest here and there. Just like a 90s sleepover, we're just a couple BFFs hanging out, so gather round and let's launch right into it. She vanished after a night out, and when her body was found in a field, police zeroed in on the boyfriend.
Of course they did.
As they do.
As they do.
But when the digital evidence started to pile up, that told a much different story. We've got a Fitbit, a Google timeline.
Yes.
We're going to learn some things that we didn't know Google could tell you.
Yeah.
And a killer who just couldn't outrun the data no matter how hard he tries.
And he tried.
And he still tries.
He does still try. Bless him.
Bless him.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Well, let's talk about Nicole Vanderheyden, right? Hayden? Because I want to say Hayden.
It is Vanderheyden, I thought.
No, they said it different than I thought it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was Vanderheyden. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And this happened in Wisconsin, so you guys are going to get to hear us do some real fun Wisconsin accent.
Big time. And Beth wrote this one up, and she's from Wisconsin. I'm sorry, they are very particular. You can't say Wisconsin, it's Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
It's like Wisconsin. Like Mike Wazowski almost.
Oh, okay.
The C is like real hard.
Okay. Wisconsin. Whatever.
Know,
they're
hard.
from the Green Bay area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Actually, this happened near the Green Bay area, which becomes relevant in the episode. They talk about football.
Yes, they do.
Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get into it. So Nicole Vanderheyden, I think it's Hayden, went out to a concert with her boyfriend, Doug. Then they met up with some friends for a few drinks in her hometown in Green Bay. Nikki and Doug had an apartment, or they lived together in a house, right? So they were living together. They had a baby. They ended up getting into an argument that night, and they ended up going to separate bars. Okay? This is important.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't leave together when they went home. So when Nikki wasn't home, when Doug woke up the next morning, he was worried, but he still waited several hours to report her as missing. And then a body turns up in a field and things get wild, y'all. So this episode was on Killer Cases, a murder in Wisconsin field, right? On Peacock. I watched it on Hulu.
I didn't watch that episode. I watched the Dateline.
Oh, okay. I watched this episode.
Because I wanted to see the interview with a person that we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can come at this from different perspectives because I watched the Killer Cases.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nicole, she went by Nikki. She was born March 29th, 1985 in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. I said that wrong for all you Wisconsins.
I think it's Manitowoc. I know.
Silly.
But the only reason I think I know that is because that's where Stephen Avery is from in the whole Making a Murderer thing.
Oh.
He lived in Manitowoc.
Okay. Well,
I could still be saying it wrong.
You could be.
Nothing they say sounds right.
No, it doesn't.
It's hard.
Okay. So her parents were Steve and Vicky, and she had a sister named Heather, 2 brothers, and she graduated from high school there in 2003. She went on to college at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. She double majored in science and education and graduated in 2010. Get after it, girl. Yeah. Let's see. She dedicated 6 years to student teaching in the Green Bay area public school system. And in her obituary, it was said that Nikki loved the outdoors and fitness and had a holistic and organic approach to her life. She found peace and joy in the simple things in life like hiking, nature walks, and going to the zoo. I loved going to the zoo.
I do too.
She was also a dedicated mother to her 3 children. I don't think the Peacock episode or the Killer Case I don't think it said anything about her 3 children. I only remember
the baby.
it talking about the baby.
Oh, yeah.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
It might have been in there, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, she had 2 children from her first marriage.
Oh, how old were they?
I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
They were young.
Okay. But she always put them first and ensured that they were protected and cared for. So she had 2 children from her previous marriage. They were Tyler and Michaela. And then she had a 6-month-old son named Dylan, who she had with her boyfriend, Douglas Dietrich.
Yes.
So on May 21st, 2016, a call comes in to the Brown County Sheriff's Department from a farmer who found a body on his property. The body was off in a wooded area and wasn't visible from the road. This is awful.
It's terrible.
So when he's talking to the dispatcher, he says the body's got long hair. He couldn't determine whether it was a male or a female. The body was face down. They asked, did you do CPR? Could you do anything for her? And the man said that the body was already beginning to decay.
Yeah, and so this is interesting because in the Dateline episode, they actually talked to 2 teenagers found her body.
Oh.
They were helping, I think, the grandfather clear land or do farming stuff. I don't know. And they were getting the whatever ready. And they found her and they said that, so she has blonde hair. And they said that her hair was so covered in blood that it looked like her hair was red. They couldn't tell that it was necessarily blonde at first. And they said that you could see half of her face, kind of.
Oh.
And these are like 15-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And then they go and get him, and then he calls it in.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't hear about them in the Peacock episode. You just hear that the farmers called it in, and they ask, were you able to do CPR? Could you tell anything about her or whatever? And he just says something like her face is really bruised, or like her face is really beaten up, or like he makes some comment about like the condition of her body being like very, very like swollen and whatever. But I thought it was interesting that they said the body was starting to decay already, because we know she had only been there for a few hours.
Right.
So I don't know if she just looked that, like if she had been beaten up that bad that they were like, oh, she's been here for a while or what. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. And she was also naked. So that's, part of that. And then they said she had like a wristband on, a pink wristband from the bar. And she did have socks on.
Yeah.
She didn't have any other clothes on.
Right. And it didn't seem that any of the clothes were around either. So they did determine, though, the police get out there and they find a shoe mark on the back of the body.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Like she'd been stomped.
Yes. I think the term they used was curb stomped, which...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's graphic.
Yikes.
Okay, so when they roll her body over, they do note that her face had been badly beaten and that basically she was unidentifiable at that point because she was so badly bruised and swollen, right? They said there was trauma to the neck that indicated a possible strangulation. There were also lacerations and bruising throughout her body, and her fingernails were damaged, which were indicative of defensive wounds. And of course, aside from just having her socks and her bracelet, they had nothing else to go off of at that point. So while the police are at the scene, they're trying to figure out who this is, right? A call comes into the non-emergency line at about 4:30 p.m., and it's Doug Dietrich, who is Nikki's boyfriend, and he's calling to report her missing. And I'm sure they played it in the Dateline episode, but in the Peacock episode, like you hear the call or whatever, and they're like, what can we do for you, whatever, because he calls the non-emergency line, and he's like, what do I need to do about, I guess, like, how do I go about reporting, like, I guess a missing person, maybe? Like, he's very unsure sounding when he's calling, and that immediately, I guess, was a red flag to a lot of people, which, I mean, fair. I'm going to talk about my defense for Doug later. But anyway, he's not frantic. He's not like, he's worried. He's concerned.
There
but
just
he's
doesn't
not
seem to be any urgency.
Yeah, there's no urgency at this point.
And he hasn't seen her since the night before.
Correct.
And they have a baby.
Correct.
And he waits till 4:30 in the afternoon to call this in.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's my defense of Doug. I'll just go ahead and give it.
Okay.
They have a baby. The baby was 6 months old, right? The baby's still waking up in the night. He says he has to get up with the baby in the night, whatever. He's hungover. He's sleep deprived. And they had just had a fight. So, like, in my mind, I would probably be panicked a little bit, but also you don't want to jump to the worst.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's like, well, maybe she just went and stayed with her mom, or maybe she went and stayed with her sister or whatever.
Yeah. And she'll be back.
And she'll be back. And maybe she's like, you know, he's probably like, I feel like trash. I'm hungover. I'm sure she is too. Like, you know, maybe maybe we're just taking a little time out for a minute before we come back, because arguing, first of all, taking over care of a child when you're hungover, ugh. And second of all, having to hash it out with a partner while you're hungover after you've gotten in a drunk fight. No, thank you.
No.
She might have been like, you know, if he thought she's hungover, he might have been like, she's probably just like trying to survive right now. Like trying to not like get up off the couch and not throw up.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, you know, I mean, there are, I would say, valid reasons why you wouldn't necessarily be panicked yet.
Yeah. And not everybody assumes that they're going to end up on Dateline.
Exactly.
I do.
Well, yeah.
But that's
different.
You know, nature of the job, hazard of the job.
Yeah.
I go right to what is this Dateline episode going to be like.
If Sean takes more than like 30 minutes to text me back, I'm like, he's dead. And I'm checking his location find my iPhone. I'm like, is he on a road somewhere? Is he in a ditch? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I get worried.
I thought Andrew was dead yesterday because he didn't respond to a text message, and I was bringing a child to him for football.
Oh.
And then when I got to football and he was there and fine, I was super pissed.
Yeah.
And then I went back to my text messages and realized that he had in fact responded to me, and I didn't see it.
Wow. Okay.
And I even told our other friend that I was pissed off at him because so I had to text her later and be like, he did text me, I didn't see it. She was like, he probably just didn't text you soon enough. I still support you.
Stand by you.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, but that was I was like,
yeah,
does anything happen?
I jumped straight to panic.
Yeah.
But this is also like super small town, like nothing bad happens here. So like why she had also been out with friends, like some of his friends and stuff too. So like maybe he was like, maybe she crashed with them or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think there are some valid reasons for him to not have panicked yet. Would I have panicked already? Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
But I have what we call anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just my MO.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I understand there are other people in the world who don't have anxiety. I don't relate to them. But I hear they exist.
Yeah.
So maybe he's one of them.
Maybe. Well, it does sound like he is one of them, if we're being honest. So the police immediately go to Doug's house where Nikki and Doug live together. And they're taking the missing persons report, and they want to know, why did you not do this until 4:30? And all the reasons that you said. I've got a 6-month-old. He was up. I was up. I didn't even get home till late, like the whole thing. Because they had a babysitter for that night. And so he got home and like relieved the babysitter essentially.
Well, okay. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have a real man-hater moment, right? Except in reverse. Because one of the police officers is like, but you have a 6-month-old baby. That baby needs its mom. And like, yes, babies do need their mothers. Mothers are typically the primary caretakers, especially early on in life. But also, that baby has a dad, and that baby's dad is here. So get out of here.
Yeah. They did say in the Dateline that she was still breastfeeding.
They did say that in the Peacock, too, because they said she might have gotten more intoxicated more quickly because she wasn't used to drinking anymore because of the breastfeeding. So, like, yeah, they did say that, but like...
But yeah.
But
like,
I breastfed
this child
kids.
has 2 parents.
Yeah. This child has 2 parents. And I mean, I don't know about their situation, but like when I was breastfeeding, like I would just pump extra. Well, I had a lot of extra, but they're like.
Yeah, not everybody had that luxury.
So sorry that I turned into a milk factory.
I know. I would pump for like 24 hours straight, and I'd end up with like 3 ounces. And I'm like, this is so hard.
That was not my journey. My journey was quite literally the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we had known each other then. You could have been my milkmaid or whatever they call it.
I could have. I really could have.
Yeah. Because that was not my journey. Yeah.
But anyway, that pissed me off in reverse. Because like, yes, the baby needs its mom, but also this baby has a dad and this baby's dad is here taking care of him. Like,
exactly.
Don't
He's
do
fully
that.
capable.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So they talked to Doug and he says, okay, so we went out last night to see the Steel Panthers at a bar called The Watering Hole. And then he runs into some friends from high school that he hadn't seen in a while. And Nikki had gotten upset because she'd seen him talking with another girl. This is what he says. Doug and his friend Greg decided to stay at the watering hole longer. Nikki leaves with some friends and they go to the Sardine Can. And it's about a 10-minute drive from the watering hole. And it's a very popular bar in the Green Bay area.
Yes.
And
allegedly. So we're told. We've never been.
Allegedly. And so they are now at two separate bars.
Yes.
So while they are separated, Nikki gets very angry. And Doug is like, I don't know where this came from. Like, it just came out of nowhere. And she starts sending him really angry texts. And she's like, what slut are you with?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, she's apparently convinced that he is cheating on her. She accuses him of cheating on her. She accuses him of being abusive in these text messages.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really respond. And I believe at this time, too, she's calling him.
Yeah.
And he's not answering.
Right.
So Doug says he and Greg leave the watering hole at around 12:30. They go look for Nikki, but by the time they got to the Sardine Can, Nikki had left. She wasn't there. So he decided, well, she probably went home. I'll go home. And he also said at one point that he had driven around looking for her.
Okay.
But that didn't appear to be true. So, or if he did go around looking for her, he didn't do it for very long because the surveillance video showed him at the Sardine Can for like another hour, just standing in the same spot drinking a beer.
Well,
so
maybe he thought she was going to come back.
Maybe. So he goes home, and when he gets home, the babysitter is there, and obviously their son is there. The two older children were with their father for the weekend. So the babysitter goes home. Doug goes up to bed, and he figured Nikki will come home. Obviously, she's not here yet, but she'll come home. He wakes up twice during the night to use the restroom and to check on Dylan. Nikki still wasn't home, though. So then he gets up the next morning around 10 or 11. Nikki was still not there.
Correct.
And again, they were like, why did you take so long? Because he doesn't call till 4:30. And he says, look, I was hungover. I didn't feel well. He said he was kind of worried that maybe she ran off with another guy. So while the interview with Doug was taking place, the body in the field ends up being identified as Nicole Vanderheyden. I'm not sure. Then an officer noticed some bloody clothing along the side of the road about a mile from where Nikki was found. The clothes were identified as belonging to Nikki.
Okay, my question is, who is identifying this stuff? Because Doug is with the police at the house.
Right.
And how did they identify her? Other than a missing persons call came in, and so maybe they were able to like pull her driver's license or something. I don't know. So like that part's fine, but like, how did we know the clothes were her? Like, who's doing the identifying? Because in the Peacock episode, it doesn't seem like Doug is the one who did the identifying at all.
What I am assuming, and they weren't super specific with this, was that when he made the missing persons report, they would have asked what's the last thing that she was wearing, and she happened to be
okay.
It would have been the same clothes.
Yeah,
one of the things that they found in those items, though, was her, because she was a teacher, was her lanyard with her ID.
Yeah,
so they were able to find that, and then they matched her officially with her dental records.
Okay.
I didn't realize that could all happen that fast.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a very quick turnaround time, because it seems like all of this happens while the police are at Doug's house.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like the way they set it up in the episode, that those two things are happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
So that's why I was also very confused.
Yeah, it seems very fast, so I'm not totally sure. So they start investigating her murder, because now we know that, and they find her shoes, they find the clothes she was wearing, they find her purse, they found her ID, all of those things. So now they're going to investigate the murder. So they get the surveillance video from the Sardine Can, where they saw Nikki and her friends dancing. She sat outside on the patio from about 11:15 to 11:45. These people are brave. When I had a 6-month-old child, there was no way I could not stay up till 11:15 or 11:45. Maybe a couple times I did. But like,
yeah, that's hard work.
It was hard work, yeah. So I'm kudos to them for going out and doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
It did not.
It didn't go as planned, but yeah, but they were making the effort.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Nikki appeared to be visibly upset while she was on her phone, and then she eventually got up and she left out of the patio entrance onto the side street next to the bar. So her friend Aaron Glinsky followed her out. He tried to get her to come back into the bar or get a taxi home. Let me get you home. He says they began arguing. And Nikki pushed him or hit him. She got physical with him. She wanted him to leave her alone. She said, let me be. I'm fine. I will handle this. Whatever. And so he's like, she's an adult. So
yeah.
Okay. And there were witnesses that confirmed the argument, and the surveillance video confirms this as well. And then he returns to the bar around 11:43. This is less than 3 minutes after Nikki leaves. And then shortly after she leaves, Aaron and their friends called an Uber and they go home.
Mm-hmm.
Then at about 12:18 a.m. on May 21st, Doug and Greg arrive at the sardine can, and the surveillance footage shows them hanging out, not really looking for Nikki. He just sort of stands there enjoying his beer, and they stay there till 2:15 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand why you might exaggerate how much you looked for her, because it doesn't look good at all.
It does not.
To just go to another bar and
hang out,
leisurely have drinks.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't look good when they confirm that wasn't true. So we have to balance. We have to balance things.
We'll get into it because things are going to start devolving quickly. But when we get to the trial part of it, I'll circle back when we get to the trial part of it. Sorry.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
There's a
lot.
Mm-hmm.
So based on Doug's story at this point, what they see on the surveillance video, the officers are starting to suspect that Doug had something to do with Nikki's murder.
Which, that's the go-to person. That's your partner. That's the person you live with. So totally makes sense.
Statistically, you're right on the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they run a background check on him, and they find out that an ex-girlfriend of his named Rebecca had filed a domestic violence claim against him. This claim, though, did not result in any charges, but, you're like, does he have a history of this?
Yeah.
So investigators go and they talk to Rebecca, and she said that Doug was both jealous and violent when they were together. They also spoke with Nikki's friends and family, who said that Doug had been abusive towards Nikki, and that he abused both alcohol and cocaine.
Yeah.
And those things will make you right pissed.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're doing them at the same time. But, okay. Outside of them talking to her family and her family saying, oh, he was abusive, blah, 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 whatever. Maybe he was. I don't know. But it just seemed like, at least the way the Peacock episode set it up, it just seemed very much like everybody just jumped on him really quickly.
Yes.
It seems like the way it's made it sound was that the police showed up and said, hey, Nikki's missing. We think Doug did it. His ex-girlfriend told us that he was abusive and jealous and angry all the time. Do you know that to be true, or can you confirm?
Right.
And they were like, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how that went down? I don't know, because we don't see the whole thing. But it just everybody was real quick to jump on it.
Right. Which, again, statistically, is that probably what happened? Yes.
Yeah.
However, that is your jumping off point for the investigation.
Yeah.
That's
not the
we've
conclusion.
Wrapped it up.
Yeah.
You're, 12 hours in to this
and
investigation?
They're like, bingo bongo, we got him.
Yeah. You got to do a little more than that. Let's do a little more.
Yeah. Well, they do a little bit more. So after they learn about this alleged abuse by Rebecca and supposedly Nikki, according to friends and family, right? They get a search warrant for the house that Nikki and Doug live in, which is in this suburban area of Green Bay. And during their search, they find blood on the garage floor, blood and dirt inside Nikki's vehicle. And they also find a pair of Doug's shoes that had appeared to have a blood stain on the bottom of them and what they believe is matching tread to that. Remember, she had that print on the back of her, or on her back, I guess. Okay. I will just say the shoe print. It is the most generic shoe print. It's a herringbone print.
It's the bottom of a shoe print.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I used to be like, oh my gosh, they matched the shoe print to this guy's exact shoe. No, the fuck they didn't. No, they didn't. They matched a shoe with a shoe and said,
that was
shoes.
Roughly the same size.
Yeah.
But also remember, if she has a bruise on her back, bruises spread. So like if you get hit with something that's like this big, the bruise is going to be this big.
Yeah.
So like maybe the bruise matches the shoe size, but like the shoe could have been smaller also.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just.
I took it as the shoe print was like from the dirt on it.
Maybe.
Like, but still, that's just not.
Either way,
shoe prints are not definitive evidence.
No.
Not in any way, shape, or form. I don't think they should be admissible in court. It is junk science.
Well, and shoes are so generic. Like, they're like, well, this was clearly from a Nike because of the pattern on the bottom. Okay. Just about every household in America has a pair of Nikes in it.
There is only one case that I can think of where, and I don't remember the case anymore, but where the person had this like so rare shoe that they didn't make anymore, that they only made like 100 of them, that they went to all the stores that sold them and there was a bill of sale matching, blah, blah, blah. That's the only time that I'm like, okay. But the rest of it, especially with like, you can buy shoes online. So like anybody could have, it's not like you had to be in a specific area. Yeah. I was like, don't even with the shoe print.
I didn't love it. Okay. And so as the search is in progress, some neighbors come by and they tell them that they had seen blood on the curb outside of the home and that they had come across what looked like a phone cord in their yard. And they had been out mowing the lawn and they like ran over it. So that's how they find it, right? So when the investigation goes over to check it out and see what the neighbors had seen, they find a clump of blonde hair over there. Yeah. So with all of that right outside their house and the things that they find in the garage, the police believe that Nikki was killed right outside of their house, basically. And they come up with the theory that Doug killed Nikki and used her own car to dispose of her body. And so they arrest him. Also, I would point out that while they come into the house and they're like taking his statement, they're not even interviewing him really. This is not like an interrogation.
Right.
They're videotaping him and he doesn't know. And it doesn't look like it's body cam. It's like they just turn on a video recorder.
Yeah.
Which I know they can do that, but it was still just like, it felt icky to me. It felt like you were setting him up.
Yes. And I will say, and we'll say it every day, probably. Do not talk to the police without a lawyer there.
No.
I don't care if you didn't do anything.
I
don't care if you have nothing to hide. They just have tricks up their sleeve.
They sure do.
And they're allowed to have tricks up their sleeve, but you're not.
No.
You lie to them, you're in trouble. They lie to you, that's a Tuesday.
Exactly. So once they get him to the station, they start officially questioning him, I guess. And he, of course, maintains his innocence. He doesn't change his story. And that is one thing I will say, especially with wrongful convictions, is that it's very difficult if you are innocent and become convicted because innocent people don't change their story because they're not lying to you. And so now your defense has nothing to work with.
Yeah.
Adnan. It's fun. And of course, lots of others too.
Lots and lots.
But anyway, so he doesn't change his stories. He spends 2 hours in the interrogation room before the police tell him that they found Nikki's body. So they're going at him.
He doesn't even know she's dead yet.
He doesn't even know. And I think it's late at night at this point. Like, I think in the Peacock thing, they said it was like a super long interrogation and it was late at night. So like
And remember, he's hungover as fuck.
He's hungover.
Yeah.
He's been fighting with his girlfriend. Now the police are berating him. And then 2 hours in, after you've already spent the whole afternoon with him, now 2 hours later, they're like, oh, by the way, she's dead. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they tell him that she had been found in a field, right? And so they've got him in custody, dangerous already. And they continue their investigation into the murder. And what they start to find unravels their case, shockingly, right? Mm-hmm. So they obtain additional surveillance footage that confirmed that Doug had left his car at the watering hole that night. Records obtained from Nikki's vehicle prove that her car had not been driven that night. Mm-mm. And with everything that's like starting to fall apart, right? They decide to interview the friend that was with Doug that night. So that would have been Greg as a potential accessory to murder. So I thought this was interesting, right?
What evidence?
The case is falling apart. Let's see if this guy's an accessory because it doesn't look like this guy. Like
right.
It did not make sense.
Yeah, instead of being like, maybe he didn't do this. Yeah. It's maybe he didn't do it alone.
Yes.
He did it.
But maybe not by himself.
Yeah,
like, so we're still not backing off of he didn't do it.
It's giving Central Park 5.
It is.
And like every other case, basically, that ends in a wrongful conviction. Like,
and Sean watched this with me. And like, you see the footage of them telling him she's dead, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, he's not really like responding to that very, like, he's not responding how I think he would. And I was like, okay, what is an appropriate way to respond then?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I would be frantic. And I was like, okay, now I want you to remember this man has been hungover. He's been up and down with his baby all by himself. He thinks she's missing. He knows they had a fight the night before. He's been with the police for 5 hours now. He's probably exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically. And then they just hit him with, by the way, we found her body.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's probably just processing. Like, he's in a state of shock. Like, all of these things are washing over him at one time. And he's like,
yeah, like, have you ever heard news that you're like, it didn't feel real until, you know? And like, he's probably numb and like, this can't be happening. This isn't real. And what is going on? And I'm in jail and they're trying to, you know, like.
He's also probably coming to the realization like, oh, they think I did this.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's hitting you at one time.
Yeah. And if he had started crying and falling apart, they would have said he's putting on a show.
Faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too emotional.
I told Sean, I was like, I know whenever, like in very intense like situations like that, I just shut down. I get very calm. I get very like analytical, very calculated, very like, okay, what's the next thing?
Right. Yeah.
And that's how I handle it. Yeah. And I was like, I think it's because my body knows if we start having an emotional response right now, it's going to be overwhelming and we're done.
Yeah.
So we just shut that down.
Yes.
And we say, okay, let's move through the steps.
Yes.
And I think that's what he's doing. And I think that's a totally reasonable response. And Sean was like, I would panic. And I was like, of course you would. He is not good in an emergency situation. Well, he's like, he's the one that you're like, call 911. And he's like, what's the number?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they bring Greg in as a potential accessory to the murder with the thought that he helped Doug move the body. So they don't think Greg helped kill her. They think Greg helped move her. But Greg's timeline added up with Doug's. Shocking. And the location data from both of their phones eventually corroborates that. Also, I will say, I don't know if they show it in the Dateline one, but in the Peacock one, they show part of the interview with Greg and they're like, what do you, like, they're asking him for some excuse, like, what's your alibi? What's your alibi? And he basically just looks at them and is like, are you fucking kidding me? And he gets up and he walks out of the interrogation room and the police officer's just sitting there and he's like, so that's your alibi? Your alibi is you have nothing to say? That's your alibi? And I was like, good for you, Greg. Yeah, walk out of that room.
Exactly. Like, you don't even have to,
reminder, you don't have to stay there.
Yeah. Am I in custody? No? Then bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. They didn't even mention Greg in the Dateline.
Oh. Yeah. Well, in the Peacock one, you see him get up and he's just like, I'm out. I'm over this. But it also makes me mad because they're like, would you like an attorney? or like, we want to talk to you. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you. And they ask him something else and he's like, I want an attorney. And they're like, are you sure? And it's like, that's not how that works. When I say I want an attorney, you are done.
Yeah.
The conversation is over.
To shut up.
If I say I don't want to talk to you, they can keep talking to me. If I say I want an attorney, we are done.
Yeah, that's the end.
That is that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was
But of course they don't. A lot of times they're like, well, if you bring your attorney in, I can't help you. And,
Good. I don't want your help anyway.
No, because that's not what they're there for.
Yeah. So Greg's statement lines up with Doug's. Another piece of their puzzle falling apart, and yet we're still not giving up.
And their, like you said, their phone data corroborates
exactly
that too.
All of the data, everything is lining up that he did not do this, and they're still not letting it go. So they test the blood that had been found in the garage, and it turned out it wasn't even human blood.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Doug had gone turkey hunting recently and had butchered the turkey in the garage. So the blood on his shoe was determined to be from that of a turkey, along with the blood in the garage. The blood that they found in Nikki's car was actually her daughter's, likely from like a small injury, because her daughter was older, a little bit older, so not like a baby, which was concerning to me initially. But now that I know that she had 2 other kids, they were like, it was the child's blood in the car. And I was like, that seems like a lot of blood for a baby.
Oh, yeah.
But if it was like a kid that was like playing and like cut their knee or like, that makes much more sense.
The Dateline mentioned it was a possible, like, they thought it was a
nosebleed or something like that. Because they don't say how much blood or anything like that. But obviously it was enough that it was noticeable. So I was like, if that's from a baby, that's concerning.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a nosebleed, that makes a lot more sense. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, uh-oh. Then they're looking through more evidence, and they go back to that initial conversation with Doug after he had reported Nikki missing, and they realized he was wearing a Fitbit.
Yeah.
Here's our tech that testifies.
So thank God they did video it.
So they're like, let's pull the data from the Fitbit and see if, what it tracked, what it's going to show.
Yeah.
So from the time that Doug got home to the time that he woke up the next day, his Fitbit logged only 16 steps.
Yep.
Which is consistent with going to pee and peeking over and looking at the baby. So with this new information, the investigators were like, look, he didn't do it. There's just no way he did it.
Yeah.
So he was released after 16 days in custody, and he missed Nikki's funeral.
Okay, so that pissed me off too. In the Peacock episode, one of the detectives or whatever is in there, and he's like, I do feel really guilty because he did miss a lot of things. Like, he didn't get to go to her funeral and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you're jumping to conclusions.
Yes.
And like, on the one hand, I get it when all of the evidence points to this person. Like, you do want to get that person off the streets, right? Like, if you think they're a danger, I get it. But at the same time, like, it wasn't day 16 that Greg was there corroborating his story. Like, we were doing all of these, like, this was already falling apart.
Yeah.
Very early on.
And
you still held him there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So they pissed me off because they just put him in jail, and in jail he sat despite the fact that everything's falling apart.
Yes. And I get that you found the blood. I get that, but if they got the results of that back within 16 days, then could we not have waited to confirm? Because there are plenty of times that humans bleed for different reasons. There are plenty of times where like, you could have asked him if he's a hunter, like, I don't know.
It just felt very like jump the gun.
Yeah. And Andrea Canning in the Dateline, when she was talking to the 2 police officers, she says, what a huge mistake to arrest this person. And he, was cleared so quickly. And the one guy says, I'll own up to that. I felt like it was the right decision. My supervisor felt like it was the right decision. Obviously we were wrong.
Right.
And the other guy jumps in and he goes, I'm going to push back on the word mistake. We felt like we had probable cause. We did find blood.
Yeah.
We were concerned about the safety of the community and his young child at home. And she's like, well, yeah, but you were wrong about all of it though.
Yeah.
So.
And I get the initial arrest, but as soon as every bit of evidence that you're basing your probable cause on starts falling apart, you no longer have probable cause.
Right.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
And like, and I don't, okay. Anyway, whatever.
I mean, guys.
Yeah.
So at this point, the police continue their investigation, but due to the backlog at the crime lab, they could only submit 10 samples of evidence from the crime scene at a time. And along with her recovered clothes. And because of this, months go by. They have no answers. They have no leads.
Yep.
And in August of 2016, they get a hit from the socks that had still been on Nikki's body when she was found.
Yes.
And they entered that DNA into CODIS, and they get a hit from Virginia.
Yes.
The DNA was a match to a man named George Stephen Birch, who had been charged in 2001 for a murder, but ultimately he was acquitted.
Which I thought was interesting.
He had 5 other criminal charges against him. He was on probation for one of them. He was not supposed to have left Virginia during that time. So what the heck was he doing in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Yes. What the heck was he doing in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
This is interesting. They're looking into him further. And they learned that he'd been involved in a hit-and-run accident. It was a stolen vehicle and a car fire on June the 8th, 2016. So this incident involved the Green Bay Police Department. So when the Sheriff's Department contacted them in August, the Green Bay Police Department actually had a record of everything on Birch's phone.
Yep.
Less than 3 weeks after Nikki's murder. And the car accident, wasn't it like the day after?
Yeah.
She was murdered. It was really close to...
it was really close, yeah.
Which obviously this is a very interesting time for this to happen. But he had told during this time he was living with one of his friends in the area. And it was actually their vehicle that he was using. And so he told them, oh my gosh, somebody stole the vehicle and they crashed it. And, then it caught fire and like all this stuff. So he never ended up getting in trouble for it. But they had asked him if they could take his phone and just get communications from and data from the phone for just those couple of days. Which happened to also be the day of the murder. I mean.
So it says it was their policy to clone your phone. Excuse me. No.
No, don't.
No.
You don't let them do that.
No.
You ask
for
a lawyer.
I would be like, gonna need you to get a warrant or something for that. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Old George, though, he gave it over.
Thank God he did.
Exactly. So they have this record, and he had offered up his phone to prove that he had been texting a woman while at the bar that night. So with the records they get from the GBPD, along with the records obtained directly from Google. So they got, because part of what they got from his phone was literally his, what do they call it? Like a Google dashboard?
Yeah, it was something. I don't know.
And it has tons of private personal information in it. Lots and lots and lots. Like exact location data.
Yeah, don't like it.
A lot of stuff you wouldn't think about, but they had access to all that because there was nothing specific. So I guess, all right, so you don't have to have a warrant if you ask and somebody says yes.
Correct.
Even if you say to them, I only want to get your text messages from that night, it doesn't matter.
Once it's open, it's open.
Okay. But if they had a warrant, they could only get the information that is stated in the warrant. Okay.
That's why they always knock and ask if they can come in first, because if you let them in, then they don't have to.
Then they can look for anything.
They
can take anything.
Yeah. So like with a warrant, you have to have probable cause. All right. Obviously. And you have to state specifically what you're looking for if it's like a search warrant, right? And so a lot of times what you want to do is you want to specify that you're looking for something small, because if you are looking for something small, then you can look in small places where it would fit or big places where it would fit. If I say I'm looking for a truck, a vehicle, I can't go inside your house because a vehicle wouldn't be inside. Like you have to be searching in places where the thing could be.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm looking for a small object, then I can look in places where
lots of places.
Lots
you could
of
hide
places.
that anywhere. Yeah.
But if I'm looking for something big, then I can't really go through like your dresser drawers because it would be too big to be there. So then why am I looking there?
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, so since he was like, sure, take it, they pulled everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at a bar called Richard Cranium's on the night.
Can we pause on that?
Yes.
Richard Cranium's dick head.
Okay. I was like, I know there's something there, and I don't fucking get it.
I died immediately as soon as I said it. And I was like, and Sean was like, what? And I was like, Richard Cranium, dick, head. And he was like,
God. Okay. Well, I'm glad Sean's very smart and he didn't get it. Okay. That makes me feel better. Because
this is like my brand of humor where I'm like, okay, I get it.
I was like, I feel, but I even said, I went, Dick Cranium. That doesn't make any sense. I was like, maybe that was like a famous person or something and I don't know who they are. Wow. I'm going to
funny, right?
Yeah, it is really funny.
Well played, Wisconsin.
Well played. So for reference, Dickheads is a 2-minute drive or a 13-minute walk from the sardine can.
Yes.
And so the record showed that he was at Richard Cranium's until the early morning hours of May 21st. And then his data puts him directly outside of Nikki's home from about 3 to 3:15 a.m.
Correct.
But then he doesn't stop there.
But wait, there's more.
Then he happens to be at the farm where Nikki's body was found before 4 a.m. Then he's found in the exact spot that all her clothes were thrown out of a window on the side of the road at 4:05 a.m. And then he went back home. So, he's staying with his friends, Ed and Linda Jackson. And so Ed knew George Birch for a long time. They were friends for like 20 plus years.
Interesting.
I know. Ed seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders, so I don't really know what happened here. But George was getting divorced from his wife or going through a separation. And they were like, allegedly, and they were like, you can stay with us, till you get on your feet. He got a job. Like, they all seemed to get along well together, whatever.
Yeah.
And he would regularly go to Richard Cranium's. And so that's where he was that night. Also, did they, in the Peacock episode, did they talk about George's girlfriend at the time?
No.
He had a girlfriend.
Okay.
She looked like she was 17, 18 at the time that they were dating.
That tracks.
And Andrea Canning said, did you tell your mom that you were dating, this much older man? And she's like, no. Because, she said, what did your mom say? Like, was she concerned about the age gap? She's like, she didn't know. I didn't tell her.
Oh.
And she's like, so she dated him for a while. And she was very young. Like, I don't know if she was under 18 when they dated, but clearly, she looked very young.
Oh, yeah.
And he's 38 at the time, 39.
Yeah, something like that. So with all of that evidence, they go ahead and they bring him in for questioning.
Now, that's some evidence.
That is indeed some evidence. But he refused to answer any questions that they asked, right? So he was then arrested for the murder of Nicole Vanderheyden. And they surmised that he was a 6'8", 270-pound man, curb stomping Nikki before strangling her to death. First of all, he's huge.
He's huge. What is fucking wild to me about this is they sat in her driveway in the car. Yeah. Doug was right inside. And she couldn't get help, and he didn't know she was out there. Yeah. That gives me chills. That she was that close to home, And like, had Doug looked out the window and been like, what the fuck is going on,
Yeah.
Like, it's just really sad.
It was so sad. So George Birch's trial starts on February 19th, 2018. The prosecution presented the case that after Nikki left the sardine can, she made her way to Richard Cranium's, where she was offered a ride home by Birch. When they got to her house, Birch tried to initiate sex, but when Nikki turned down his advances, he raped, murdered, and disposed of her body in a field.
Would
you like to speak on it?
The rage I feel that... So we want to criticize women for not saying no strongly enough.
Yeah.
Well, did you say no? How many times did you say no?
Exactly.
Well, if you didn't say no, how was he supposed to know that you actually didn't want to do it? But when you say no, you get fucking killed for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? And because a man can't have sex, that's worth dying for?
In this case, yes.
Are there any women who have killed somebody for turning down a sexual advance? I'm sure it's happened.
I'm sure, but it's rare.
We've covered what? We've got over 1,000 episodes on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I've never covered one.
I've never heard of one.
Mm-mm. But we have so many you can't even count them.
Exactly.
Because somebody said, no, I don't want to have sex with you. My God.
Yeah. The entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll get back on my learn to regulate your emotions train. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be a grown up and we have to figure it out. We have to be able to be told no.
And your hand's not broken.
And not lose our mind.
I mean,
it's insane.
And when are you entitled to somebody else's body? I just don't
Well, you know what else I don't understand is the defense's story of what happened. So let's get into this because it's going to get wild. So basically they said that, okay.
Mm-hmm.
His story is that he meets Nikki
mm-hmm.
at the bar that night.
Mm-hmm.
They're flirting.
Right.
Like this. They're flirting.
And I need you to but look at George Birch.
Yeah.
And look at Nikki. And look at Doug.
Yes. So they're flirting. He takes her home. He said that it was going in the direction of having mutual sex while they were in his vehicle having consensual sex.
In her fucking driveway.
In her driveway.
With Doug right inside.
Yeah. He was hit in the back of the head with a gun and knocked out. Let's please keep in mind this man is 6'8" and 270 pounds. Okay?
Correct.
The next thing he remembers is waking up on the ground outside of his Blazer. He claims that he saw Nikki's dead body and that Doug held him at gunpoint and forced him to drive to the farm to help him dispose of Nikki's body. Let us also keep in mind that Doug's Fitbit has already told us that is not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and Birch testified to this in the court of law before our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and everybody in that room.
Oh my.
He said that out loud.
Yes.
With his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Doug also takes the stand in this trial in his own and the defense asked him about a few of the text messages that he had sent his mom about Nikki. He had sent a text saying that it was going to be a long 18 years and another one that said he was going to kick Nikki and the kids out of his house. So then the defense asks him about these texts and they try to paint the picture that he's lying to his mom. And he basically says that they weren't lies, but the texts were out of anger, right? But they berate. This is what pisses me off too. And again, we go back to you're the defense. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
I get it.
Defend your client.
You have to defend your client. But have we not all exaggerated our feelings when we were in a heightened emotional state?
Yeah. And the text he sent was, I just don't know that I'm cut out for this, having kids, dad of 3 life. He was like, I just don't think I'm cut out for this. And then the other one was when we sell this house, Nikki and I are just going to go our separate ways. Yeah. I can't continue to live with her and all the kids.
It doesn't look good, but it is not damning evidence. At worst case, it makes him kind of look like an asshole.
Yeah. Which, let's be clear, he's an asshole.
Oh, yeah. They get into it in the Peacock one. I don't know if they do in yours, but he came from a well-off family. He was kind of a pretentious jerk, all of these things. He was kind of a douchebag, but that does not make you a murderer.
Yeah. Did you hear what happened with Nikki's sister?
No.
Girl.
What happened?
Nikki's sister moved in with him after she died to help him care for the children.
Okay.
And they were in the car one day driving somewhere and he reaches over and I guess decides she's being real nice to me. She must want to have sex with me.
Obviously, yes.
And he tries rubbing on her leg and she's like, no, I don't want you to do that. Her father is in the car behind them, driving behind them. I don't know where they're going, but apparently they're all going together. Doug starts driving completely erratically. He's swerving. He's driving crazy.
Oh my God.
They called 911. He got arrested and he pled no contest to false imprisonment, all that kind of stuff. So he's a fucking dickhead.
He is. He absolutely is.
No, I have no problems with him going to jail for all the things that he needs to go to jail for.
Exactly.
He did not murder
But
Nikki.
the murder was not one of them.
He did not do that.
And again, being an asshole doesn't that's not, being an asshole is not probable cause. It's just not.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is not.
Yeah. But also what I didn't understand was the digital evidence very clearly showed that Doug himself did not do this. Now, if the defense wanted to present evidence that maybe Doug had paid George, did they have text messages between each other? Did they have any knowledge
but they didn't
of each other?
go that route.
They didn't, because there was no evidence of that.
Right.
But yeah, they didn't try to go that way. What I didn't understand was, why did the judge allow a third-party culprit defense like that? Because they essentially had like a mini trial of Doug for their defense.
I mean,
I guess that's just judge discretion, but
well, I mean, if that is the defense's strategy, which it is a strategy to say it wasn't me, it was this other person. Then that person. So when Doug was there, what he said could not, like, that wasn't going to land him in jail, right? Because he's not on trial. The trial is not about him. But it could have cast doubt. He could have shown reasonable doubt, right? That Birch did it.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, there would be like a mini trial, if you will.
But I've seen other judges be like, no, you're not allowed to do that. Like, you're not allowed to present.
It may have been just judge discretion on that. I don't know.
Because on this one, I'm like, but there's, first of all, no evidence of it. Second of all, there's evidence totally
the opposite,
contradicting it.
It was confusing to me too. I don't know that I've seen it done the way they did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a viable thing. But typically, you would need to have evidence to support why you're just picking this random.
And their evidence.
He wasn't random because obviously he was like part of the case or whatever. But.
And their evidence was just George being like, I didn't know who he was then, but he pistol whipped me. And what didn't go well for George also was that Ed Jackson got on the stand and testified.
Yeah.
And the day after Nikki was murdered, Ed and George go on a fishing day together or whatever. And they had to get up real early for it and blah, 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 whatever. But they took pictures that day because men take pictures of themselves fishing with their fish. And there are pictures of George, and he doesn't have hair at this time. It looks like it's like buzzed or something.
Whatever. Yeah.
And remember, he said he was pistol whipped such that he was knocked unconscious. There were no marks on his head. There was nothing wrong with him.
You could see scratches on his hands. And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was also like, didn't help him. And then Andrea Canning did an interview with him in jail. And he was, first of all, disrespectful to Queen Andrea. We don't do that.
Oh, okay.
And she's not afraid to ask questions. She's like, okay, well then how come there were no marks on your head? He's like, well, I don't know. I can't tell you that. Just because somebody hits you with something doesn't mean you're going to have, your skin's going to split open and you're going to bleed from it or anything.
No,
and
but if you are pistol whipped until you're unconscious.
And then she was like, okay, well, Doug is a much smaller guy than you. You are a very, very large guy. Why is it that you couldn't fight him off? And he was like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Do I need to explain firearms to you? A bullet doesn't know size. If somebody shoots me, then it doesn't matter how big they are.
He never says he got shot.
No.
He said he got pistol
But
whipped.
I guess he's saying he could have shot me.
Oh my God. Okay.
He was so rude.
All right. Well, both sides present their case, right? And the jury goes to deliberate. And everyone is expecting this to take a very long time, which was mind-boggling to me because what is there to think about? But anyway, they come back to the judge after just 3 hours and they find George Birch guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. So on May 1st, 2018, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He displayed no emotion and chose not to make a statement in court. So Judge Zakowski addressed Birch at the sentencing, and he noted that this was the most brutal murder committed by one person in Brown County. And the judge is actually in the Killer Cases episode. I don't know if he's in that one or not. But he said that they don't have the death penalty in Wisconsin. But he said that he felt like this case warranted that penalty. But the best he could do was life in prison. So he said Birch would die in prison.
Yeah. Which, by the way, George Birch is pissed about.
big fat pissed.
He's like,
Excuse me.
I'm not even 40 and I'm going to be here the rest of my life.
Yes, sir. You are.
Yeah, we killed
are.
somebody.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe 2 people. We don't know. The first one, he was acquitted. So like,
oh, right.
Technically no, but like, anyway.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He's appealed his conviction. He argues that the cell phone data should have been excluded because it was gathered in a prior investigation and they shouldn't have been able to use it for that investigation. They also said that they did not properly authenticate the methodology behind the Fitbit step data, but that was rejected by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And he's currently incarcerated at the Wisconsin Secure Program Facility in Boscobel.
Sure.
I don't know.
We butchered these. Sorry, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm sure. According to the website, quote, programming at WSPF is designed to provide restrictive status housing inmates with some of the assistance necessary to modify their behavior to a degree that may allow them to be returned to general population. In order to be placed in general population, inmates in restrictive housing must demonstrate they will not create an unreasonable risk to staff, other inmates themselves, and the secure and orderly running of the institution. WSPF aims to influence the behavior of inmates by using a system of phases designed to manage risk in conjunction with treatment and programming. Inmates progress through 3 phases, of which the final is a transition phase prior to general population. At his sentencing, Judge Zakowski also ordered restitution to be paid to both Nikki's family and Doug, who now had to raise Dylan on his own. It was determined that he owed them $269,000. He's to pay $254K of that to Doug, and then almost $10K to Nikki's family, and $4,300 to the State Crime Victim Compensation Fund. That will never happen.
I was going to say, how do they expect him to pay for it if he's in jail?
Yeah. I think part of that too is like, what if he were to ever like try to profit from his crimes? That would just directly go to them. It would ensure that he can't.
Yeah. It didn't talk about it in here in the script when we were going through it, but they talk about in the Peacock thing, his demeanor in court. Like he's very calm. He's dressed up. Like, I mean, you know, they do the whole optics thing in court, right? But he's very calm. He's very very charming, all of the things. But what you don't know is that they have an electric shock waistband under his clothes because he's so big that they're like, if he freaks out, they put a shock collar on him, essentially. Yeah. In prison or in the courtroom. Crazy.
Yeah. Lori Vallow had that too when she acted as her own defense attorney.
She needed it.
Uh-huh.
Who was in charge of that zapper? Because it should have been me. I can tell you that.
I would Yeah.
So
but that's it.
Yeah. You already talked about the Nikki and Doug thing. I didn't see that because that wasn't in on.
Well, and at first when somebody said something like, it was bizarre what happened after when he got with Nikki's sister or something like that. And I'm like, please do not tell me that her sister began a relationship with this man. Like that is very strange. But that's not what it was. She was just trying to help with the baby. And then he tried to make a move and she was like, don't do that. And he freaked out and was driving crazy and her dad was trying to keep up with him. And she tried to kick the windshield out and everything. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So
again, not a good guy.
Mm-mm.
Not a murderer, though.
No.
At least not in this instance. I'm assuming he's not in jail, right? For anything at this point. So I just hope that the baby's doing well, that her other kids are doing well, because how freaking tragic.
Yeah. And she was also a high school teacher at this time. So, like, it was, I guess, would that have been summer break yet? That
it would have been like end of the school year, probably.
Yeah,
not.
That has to be devastating. Like they come in and be like, hey, your teacher was murdered this weekend. Like that's awful for those kids too.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But I mean, thank God for some tech. You know? It's we're giving our data away, but is it worth it? Well, this time it was. But
not to George, but
no. But for Doug.
Yes.
It worked out. So that's good.
Yep.
But we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you liked this episode, be sure to like this episode and follow the show so that you never miss out on new episodes. Get in on the conversation on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at Killer Queens Pod, or you can join our Facebook discussion group at Killer Queens Podcast, where we discuss cases covered on the show and all things 90s. If you want to submit a case to be covered on the show, visit killerqueenspodcast.com/case submission and just complete the form. And if we cover the case, we'll give you a shout out on the show. Lilas.